Greetings and welcome to my channel. This is my second attempt at this video. I'm a bit of a long-winded prick. I'll also do my best to watch my language. The last video went for well over 30 minutes, so essentially what I'm attempting to do here is more or less sum up my family's experience at GalaxyCon Raleigh 2022 for Friday and Saturday and kind of provide some pointers on some of the things we learned, I guess like a lesson learned on our behalf. Sincerely, wow, why am I stuttering? Sincerely, if anybody else agrees, concurs, it's merely coincidental. These are our family's thoughts, views, and opinions on what we observed, so on and so forth, and quite frankly, lessons learned. Okay, so full disclosure, we have not been to any other conventions, Dragon Con, whatever. The first time we ever went to GalaxyCon, it started out as SuperCon, and that was in 2019. And there was a ton of celebrities there, and we only got to meet a few. My major focus of effort was Summer Glau from the TV show Firefly and some other projects she's been in. So that was the major focus of effort, and we only went for one day, and that was Saturday, because quite frankly, we didn't know what to expect. We were so new that we were just like, okay, well, it was more like, I guess you could say, getting a feel for it. Last year we went and we tried to learn from the previous year. So last year we went for 2 days, Friday and Saturday. We got a hotel. Uh, your finances, your business, but if you're coming from out of town, I do highly recommend the hotel. And hopefully the hotels will get involved and continue to stay involved, offer better rates, what have you. But the hotel is awfully convenient. If for no other reason, um, just to give you an example, Friday, all right, Friday, for some reason, the air conditioning was not working. Either somebody messed with the thermostat, they turned it off, I don't know, but there was no airflow. It was hotter than Hades. Oh my God, it was miserable. And to top it all off, we just spent 2.5 hours driving up from Jacksonville. My wife was on a brand new medication, which was also a lesson learned. And this medication, because she hadn't gotten her dose dialed in yet, was inducing vomiting. So our trip up there was fun because we had to stop twice so my wife could vomit, and then my wife had to vomit frequently throughout the con, rinse out her mouth, so on and so forth. That was an unforeseen circumstance. So before I go any further, let me just pause by saying this. From what we learned based on our observations, you can't treat the con the same as last year. There may be some similarities. That could be purely coincidental, but you have to be prepared for everything to be completely different. All right? So do your best to prepare as best as humanly possible. Be flexible. As much as you try to prepare, be patient. Be kind. Be courteous. Exercise some humanity. But yeah, patience will go a long way. Kindness will go a long way, and being flexible, because things can happen at a moment's notice, whether celebrities have to cancel last minute. We weren't there Sunday, but you could get some terrifically unexpected news about a celebrity dying. So, just be flexible. So to kind of recap our 2-day event, Friday, we get there, the AC's out. One of the lessons we learned is while we had opportunities to take photos of some of the fantastic cosplays, we didn't. And that's just my wife and I. So lesson learned, we're going to have a digital camera at the ready, because even though it might seem retro to use a camera versus your phone, the camera has a dedicated purpose. It can both record video with audio. It can take still photos. So we're going to have a digital camera at the ready. My daughter, her thing is the disposable cameras. She loves getting film developed. So that's one of the lessons learned, and we're not going to turn down an opportunity to take a photo or get a photo with a cosplayer, especially somebody that put a lot of effort and a lot of work into their cosplay, and it's really, really well done, even if we don't get it. But I will tell you, there were a lot we did get, and there were a lot of throwbacks to the 80s, even 70s, and it was awesome. Uh, I feel like the 80s and even some of the 70s were well represented at this con. But be flexible. Next year it could be totally different. There could be a whole different audience, and it could be like 2021, and it could be like the anime con. But whatever. Um, one, part of being I want to stay on topic. Uh, don't be afraid to vote with your dollars. There was a vendor that was there that was specializing in like one or two things, one of which the wife and I were terribly interested in. But all I'll say is this: through his own ego, his own conduct, his own performance, he drove us away. Both my wife and I had separate experiences that were both negative, and because of the vendor's own actions, we chose not to patronize uh, his booth. Um, trying to think of some of the lessons from Friday. We got the camera thing out of the way. The hotel was a godsend because as much as we tried to prepare and plan ahead, cooler, backpack, small handheld folding chair, unfortunately, waiting in line to meet a celebrity, these things don't exactly come in handy. The folding chair was great when I was not waiting in a line and I was off to the side. Speaking of which, kindness, courtesy, etc. Don't congregate in the middle of a walking area. Move off to the side and make way for traffic if you're going to congregate. It's just the polite thing to do. Um, Beyond that, uh, having the handheld folding chair was only good when I got to use it. I couldn't use it when I was waiting in line. On a personal note, since last year's con, I dropped 30 pounds. I'm embarrassed at how much I weighed last year. I'm still embarrassed about how much I currently weigh. Apparently, I hide it well or I wear it well, but I'm still heavier than I was on active duty. I say all that because last year my feet hurt. This year my feet hurt, and I was wearing 130 plus dollar Brooks running shoes, two different pairs on two different days, and my feet were killing me both days. But thankfully, I was distracted by enough of the excitement. So you may want to think about that. All right, as far as from a physical standpoint, do you have the physical capacity to wait in line to meet a celebrity? Also, be prepared to make sacrifices. Um, Sometimes the celebrities are more popular than initially anticipated, and due to their commitments, their lines get capped at what the volunteers perceive to be a reasonable cutoff so that the celebrity can see everybody that's currently in line and make it to their next appointment. That being said, being flexible, right? In a perfect world, there would have been an application for the con that would have provided real time information to include if there's any changes. But, it is what it is. I won't pretend to know the inner workings of how the con operates or why it operates the way that it does, but it would have been nice to have certain information. Um, there was the fan page. The fan page worked out well. People were able to pass information uh, relatively timely. Um, but that means you have to check it just like you'd have to check an app. Because unfortunately, that whole being flexible thing, some celebrities make a decision on the spot, uh, whether it's them themselves or the management or whatever. So things are always fluid. Whether or not they're doing table selfies, professional photos only, whatever the case may be. From my perspective, I love to plan so that I can be like, all right, boom, 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 A, B, C, D. That's my own idiosyncrasy. That's for me to deal with. But if you're similar to me, having more readily available information would have helped with that, as far as time management goes, because you may have to be prepared to sacrifice. We didn't get to go to a single panel because we made it our mission to see as many celebrities based on the two previous cons we've been to. So each day we saw five celebrities, got either photos or autographs or whatever, and it took forever. On top of the fact that my wife, the vomit inducing medication, getting our hotel, whatever, meeting the five different celebrities was exhausting. And at the end of the day, that was about all we accomplished. Thank God my kids are old enough. They're both teenagers, so they were able to go off on their own, and we were able to use cell phones to stay in contact. Um, but on that note, going back to Friday, as far as being prepared, uh, what we did this year is we tallied up how much money we spent, and we're probably going to add 10% to that, and then basically have like a personalized savings account strictly for the con, because the con's all we do. We don't go to Disneyland, we don't go here, we don't go there. We just go to the con, and we're prepared to, put up with the pricing and everything. That being said, as much as we're trying to prepare for next year, we have no idea who's going to show up. We have no idea how much they're going to cost. It just is what it is. We're going to have to roll with the changes. And I think that's kind of what we ran into. Thankfully, GalaxyCon is pretty good about posting what they know. If they know, they'll post it, and that can help you prepare. So that's cool. Communication can go a long way. Uh, those of us con goers that were communicating in real time on the Facebook page and or Instagram, that helped out a lot. So you might want to consider that. As far as the level of preparedness, I spoke about this in a video I posted yesterday. While waiting in line to see Tom Welling, a lady who had purchased a VIP ticket showed up, and good, bad, or indifferent, because my wife reminded me to look at it from a different perspective. It worked out for us because she had a printed receipt for a gift card that she was trying to use. And I hate to say this, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, ma'am, but it was all that was left on it was $10. So you were trying to it took you 15 to 20 minutes to cash in $10. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Um, it worked out great for me and my wife because we got to interact with Mr. Welling while his business manager was so kind and so gracious to work that out. However, my wife reminded me if it wasn't us, if we were in the back somewhere waiting for our turn, we would have been frustrated. That being said, the two women that were behind us that were very, very open about how they flew in from California and that they're from California and whatnot, they didn't have to be so rude. I understand you're frustrated, but we're all there for the same thing. A little bit of kindness goes a long way. All right. But it all worked. In my opinion, it all worked out. But I do understand if I'd have been farther back in line, yeah, you should have been more prepared. Um, Speaking of which, as far as kindness and courtesy goes, I get it. It's your hard earned money. You're willing to spend it on every item you want autographed, and you're carrying around a luggage bag or a little red flyer cart or a, a business tote thing. I don't, whatever. You got a bunch of crap. You have an enormous amount of crap. I get it. Okay. Keep in mind that they cram us into these serpentines like sardines. So unless you're a VIP, you got to carry all of this crap through this small little area crammed in there in tight quarters, sharing the body heat. So I don't know how else to put it other than if there's time and space available, get your stuff out ahead of time so that you are ready and able to go. And then try not to pull so much crap out that you can't manage it and get the hell out. I'm not trying to be mean or rude, but when you're standing there and you're trying to make the most out of your experience, you've sat there and you've rehearsed and you've prepared what you're going to say so that you can basically not monopolize the celebrity's time, and you can, pardon my language, but you can shit and get. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for showing up. Hey, pleasant anecdotal thing, all of which is being done while the celebrity is signing so that by the time they're done signing, you can get your photo and you can get out, which is the most courteous thing you can do to everybody else waiting. It's also the most courteous thing you can do for the celebrity who's trying to get through everybody, also has a schedule to keep, also has to eat, also has to poop, whatever or pee, I'm sorry. So one thing that I found terribly annoying, and I don't know if anybody else agrees, but the people that showed up with like giant containers full of crap, and then they're still standing there trying to pack everything up Or, God forbid, if they've got a specific item like a rubber band for a poster and they utterly lose their mind for like 5 agonizing minutes while they look for this rubber band that was on their wrist the whole time. I'm not trying to pick on you, brother, but it was awkward, man, and it was a bit rough. All right, and I'm sure in hindsight you probably could have handled that a bit differently, but all I'm saying is, try to do your best to be prepared. And as much as I like to plan, you can't treat it like yesterday. Um, I'm trying to stay in order, but I don't know that I can. Uh, Based on last year's experience with the photo op, all right, I won't go into details, but let's just say we paid a lot of money for the professional photo op, and it was very underwhelming. And based on that experience, we were well informed that Mr. Frazier was only doing professional photos. He was not doing table selfies or photos at the table. Based on last year's experience, we opted out of the professional photo. Well, hindsight being 2020, from some of the feedback we saw online, the professional photo, at least with Mr. Frazier, even though he had the plexiglass wall, he still made it a worthwhile effort. And I think that speaks volumes, not just to himself, but perhaps his management or the staffers. I don't know if it was the individual celebrity, if it was the staff, if it was his management team, if it was the first year after the COVID pandemic, all these things combined. For the money we spent, the time we waited online, the experience did not match up. So we opted out of the professional photo, and now, day 3 after the con, we're feeling a sense of FOMO. We're feeling like, oh man, we missed that opportunity. Katie Sackhoff, I don't know if she was doing table photos on Friday, but I guess Saturday, at least the second time she came back to her table, she wasn't doing them. And it is what it is. It is what it is. And because of that previous experience, we didn't do the professional photo. Sacrifice. Got to be prepared to sacrifice and roll with the punches. If there was a second opportunity to do a professional photo, we probably could have done it, but we didn't. We made the sacrifice, met more celebrities, got the autographs, had a great time. What else? Saturday, something happened. The signals went down. I wasn't able to text my son. Uh, and equally and opposite, like the little MiFi readers that some of the celebrities' management teams use or some of the vendors use for card reading purposes, those went down. So while it's nice to not necessarily carry that amount of cash, have a backup plan. All right, have a backup plan. Uh, Card readers went down. Some celebrities only did cash. Some vendors only did cash. Whatever the case may uh, be prepared for that. If it happened this year, it very well could happen next year. Um, don't necessarily live off of the experiences of others. Some people had a less than positive experience with a particular celebrity. That doesn't mean you will. All right. We had great interactions with every celebrity we met. It was so awesome. I mean, we were flying high emotionally speaking from having met everybody. And it was so weird to hear that some of the people we met, some people had awkward interactions. So let me just say this, and I'm going to try and get in and get out as quickly as possible. In my opinion, a convention like that of GalaxyCon is not the place for you to exercise your socio-political agenda. It's just not. Even more so if your socio-political agenda potentially conflicts with a celebrity you may or may not be interested in. So maybe consider when you go to the con, leave your socio-political agenda at home. Just let it go for a day and just enjoy the con and let the con be the con. Don't make it socio-political, all right? And that's all I'll say about that. Again, on the subject of being prepared, my wife and I, the one thing we like about the line is that it gives us an opportunity to rehearse and go back and forth on what we're going to say so that it's short, it's concise, and it gets us in, it gets us out, and it doesn't monopolize the celebrities' time, and it doesn't take away time from other people in line. Um, I can't. I got to say it again. I don't get it. Friday and Saturday, I don't get it. Erica Durance. I don't understand why so many people were there to see Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling. Michael and Erica were on for just as many seasons. Uh, Tom was obviously there for all 10 seasons. If we were all super fans of the show itself and why there was such a line for Tom and Michael, I don't understand why there wasn't a line for Erica. I mean, unless guys were intimidated by her beauty because she is gorgeous. Um, unless guys weren't allowed to go see her because their spouses or girlfriends were jealous. Okay, not cool, but okay. I don't know. But I've already been going for 21 minutes. I better get off my horse on that one. Um yeah, uh what we learned was there's no particular rhyme or reason necessarily that what happened last year may not necessarily repeat itself this year. That even though we missed out on things last year, you sometimes have to measure and make a self determination what's more important. All right. Unfortunately, even if it is a 4 day event and you're there for all 4 days, or if it's a 3 day event and you're there for all 3 days, you have to come to terms with the fact that you might not be able to do everything. You might not get to meet everybody. You may not get to go to every panel. You may not get to go to every event. There may not be enough communication publicized for you to plan accordingly. You just got to be flexible. But you know what? As long as you can maintain a sense of civility, as long as you can be patient, kind, courteous, humane to one another, you can still have a great time. And in spite of my interpersonal socio-political feelings on various subjects, I put all of those to the side. I ignored them and I went to the con to enjoy the con, to meet as many people as I can meet, to check out the vendors. If I went to an event, if I went to a panel, great. Do I feel FOMO for not having gone to a panel? Of course. Giancarlo is awesome. He is he is worth every penny to just get to meet him, to go to his panels. He is such an amazingly pleasant person. I was not prepared for anybody else because I had never met anybody else. Tom was unbelievable. Erica was unbelievable. Patrick Warburton was unbelievable. Mark Paul Gosselaar was unbelievable. Harvey Guillen was unbelievable. Scott Patterson was awesome. Did I mention Patrick Warburton? I hope I did because he was awesome. Brendan was super cool, even though you could tell he was swamped, and he was super cool. So polite. Katie was Katie was hilarious because one of the things my wife and I like to do is like, are you familiar with the South? Or do you understand like the Southern version of "fu," which is bless your heart? Katie was like, oh yeah, and don't forget, love your hair, this, that, or the other. I mean, she rattled a whole bunch of things off, and I was just like, oh snap, she knows, she's in the know. Katie was phenomenal. That being said, and I feel like I'm bouncing around, courtesy, respect, civility, it goes a long way. Not every celebrity's going to share your points of view on everything. You don't need to make a big deal out of it. So Brendan Fraser maybe is a little more concerned about COVID than you are. Who fucking cares? Who cares? So Katie Sackhoff is a bit more concerned. She just had a baby. Who cares? Let it go. Just be grateful they're there. Thank them for being there. Get in, get out, enjoy. How many times are you going to get to meet Katie Sackhoff? How many times are you going to get to meet Brendan Fraser, Tom Welling, Erica Durance, Michael Rosenbaum, Patrick Warburton, Sean Gunn, Scott Patterson, Harvey Guillen, Mark Paul Gosselaar, and anybody else I forgot? Those are just the ones Nick Frost. Oh, God, can't forget Nick Frost. All right? There's nothing wrong with being civil. Your interpersonal, overinflated sense of self entitlement, let it go. Just be in the moment, all right, and enjoy. And hopefully, we'll see you there next year. and hopefully it'll be just as pleasant, just as awesome. Hopefully the air conditioning won't go out. You're going to sweat regardless. Even if the air conditioning's on, so many of us crammed into that area sharing body heat, it's like prison sex. You don't have to like it, but it's going to happen. So I apologize if I forgot anything, but I've been PTing my face for over 25 minutes. It's time for me to shut up. I would more than love to hear back from some of you, whether you agree, whether you disagree, whether there's things I forgot that need to be said so that we can all make it a better experience. All right. I'm not trying to change GalaxyCon as far as how they do business. If they take any ideas from this, that's purely coincidental. All I'm saying is maybe interpersonally, we can share some ideas and, you know, continue to make it a great experience. And that's all I got. I don't care if you hit the notification bell. I don't care if you like, dislike, subscribe. I'm just more interested in having conversations. So, with that being said, if you do leave a comment, if you do get involved in the conversation, if you do provide some feedback, you're awesome. Until next year.